What is going on, my peeps? Man Versatiles back with another video, back here to talk about Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus, specifically the keyboard case cover that we get for it, or in other words, the book cover case keyboard or book cover keyboard case that you get for the Tab S7 Plus in all its glory. Here's the size. I know I didn't clean the screen off, don't worry about that. Maybe I should use a lighter wallpaper. But here's the tablet's keyboard and the case cover to cover the back. What we're going to talk about first is the keyboard. Now, what in particular about the keyboard makes this better in my opinion? Well, it's because Samsung increased the size of the tablet. Yes, now that we have a 12.4 inch size tablet, that gives Samsung another 2 inches of room to breathe in terms of designing the keyboard. So in terms of size, I do like that the size of the keyboard is bigger, because moving into the second point, the design of the keyboard is so much better. But before I get into that, if you guys haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and also hit that notification bell so you never miss my videos. Then we can sit back, relax, see what's cracking. Now, let's get back into the video. Now, as we were saying, the design of the keyboard, if you guys see it right here, so much better. When you think about the Galaxy Tab S6's keyboard, it was slightly smaller, right, to cover the 10.5 inch size screen. The problem with that is not only were the keys smaller, but specific keys that we use the most on the keyboard were smaller, such as the keys itself were that much smaller, and the backspace keyboard in particular was uber teeny. So it was very, very hard to use the backspace, and oftentimes you felt yourself, if not clicking that, you was clicking the delete button or the arrow back, or another button up here in the corner on the Tab S6 keyboard. Gone are those days with the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus's keyboard. The keys have more space to breathe, the key travels better, and ergonomically it feels better in terms of being able to place your wrist down on it and to be able to access the keys with each finger with no problem. Now, the trackpad, plastic, but it is responsive. Using it has been fine. It is slightly bigger as well, and why not? When this is attached to the Galaxy Tab S6, it feels much more laptop-ish. It feels like you can actually have a workflow with this tablet, and it's all thanks to the new redesigned keyboard Samsung designed for the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Now, what are we going to talk about? Software in terms of the keyboard. Being able to use this keyboard has been also a joy, because you can still use it in conjunction with the software keyboard on screen. So let's say you want to use emojis while you're typing stuff up. Well, specifically in Dex mode, that once you plug this in, at the bottom you'll see a keyboard icon pop up in the taskbar, and once you see that, you can click on that and bring up the software or on-screen keyboard, and then also use that as well. Now, there is a ever so slight delay when you're trying to go between using the trackpad, the S Pen, and using the touchscreen. Keep that in mind when you're trying to use all three at once, because there is a slight lag, especially go from one to literally the other. But if you're typing and just reading something real quick and then you go to use it, and you won't see the lag, of course. It's only when you go immediately transitioning from using the trackpad to on screen, or the S Pen to on screen, because it seems like the display has to understand what's actually being touched. So keep that in mind as a side note. But in terms of keys, I like how they integrated software keys into it as well. So when you think about software keys, or the software integrated into the keyboard, using the command function and then using your arrows, especially in Dex mode, you can actually shift and assign the windows to either side of the screen. So if you hit command up and command up again, it'll full screen the app. If you hit command right and command right again, it'll shift it to the right, and then of course to the left. And then you can use the escape key as the back button. So those are some of the things I also realized. You can change the language input on here as well with the language key. That's nice. You can also bring up the software keyboard or on-screen keyboard via the same language button, and you would use either command or function to do that. So in terms of being able to use this keyboard, it has been great. There's one downside, I mean, you guys see the function buttons up at the top. You have a Windows key, it looks like. I think that's a Windows key. You have your typical recent apps, your home button as function keys. You got your screen brightness. You basically have, like, I guess you could turn off touchscreen or turn off the screen. You have your sound function. You can mute. You got your fast forward, your rewind, play, pause, and fast forward buttons. And then you have your finder, and then you have the deck/screenshot button. Now with the decks and screenshot button, if you just press that button, it'll screenshot. If you do function and the deck's screenshot button, you will open and close deck. So keep that in mind when you're trying to use either or. But as I highlighted, those are some of the features with the function buttons, right? The one problem is with the keyboard, and maybe just because of the design, maybe it's not thick enough. Maybe they don't want to drain too much battery off of it, or off the tablet, which I don't think we would mind ultimately, is the lack of backlighting. So the keyboard does not have backlighting keys. That's something I think we would all like to see. Now I will say, because the screen's bigger and it's closer to the keyboard, the screen's emittance of light does illuminate the keys enough for you to not have a problem. That being said, still having that functionality built into the keyboard, I think is something that we would all appreciate, Samsung. If you could integrate that, implement that with the Tab S8, that would be amazing. What do you guys think about the keyboard? I enjoy using it. With that, is the keyboard sounding more useful to you? I know the Tab S6's keyboard was still pretty good, but because it was smaller, it just lacked the ability to really use it as well ergonomically. Let me know what you guys think about the Tab S7 and S7 Plus's keyboard. Now, the point of real contention, or alleviation, I should say, with the Tab S7 Plus, and I guess the Tab S7, of course, is the case cover. Yes, the book cover case hides the S Pen, or houses the S Pen, protects it so it doesn't fall off, but these magnets are pretty strong, so keep that in mind. And upon continuing to pull it off, it is magnetically attached. So what do you mean by that? Well, as you guys see here, this is the magnet part right here, which suctions to 90% of the back, you could say, probably even 95% of the back. Kickstands right here. This part, I believe, is also still magnetic. So really, the whole back is magnetic, which means you will not have a problem with this falling off. That's the main point of contention with the Galaxy Tab S6's book cover case, is that it was adhesive based and it always fell off. Gone are those days with the Tab S7 Plus. I hope that they continue to refine this, keep this design, really, because it is a very solid design. I guess the only thing I would say that they could, of course, improve on is the material. Outside of that, it's great. And now, I don't have no problem with the material anyway. To me, it still feels pretty good, of good quality. But of course, who doesn't want more quality built into their accessories that they're buying, especially at the price point of $200? And that's where this ultimately all comes down to. Is it worth $200 for this keyboard that lacks backlighting? Is it? I mean, that's really the only feature that you don't get. Outside everything else is pretty good. I will say that it is not, it's not worth $200. As much as I enjoy and loving the keyboard, I don't think it's worth $200. Now, I got it as part of the deal for trading in my Tab S4 for the Tab S7 Plus, and they cut the price of the keyboard down to $115. Now, if you can get it at like 150 below, I would even say if you could get it below that, like 120, 130, if you do the trade-in deal, because they're always running trade-in deals. If you do the trade-in deal and get the keyboard that way, it's worth it then. If you can get it at half off, around 100 to 115, Samsung really owes us for last year because of how bad that keyboard was. And I thought my tablet was bending here for a second. Samsung owes us for the Tab S6 for sure. And so the fact that we still have to pay a pretty penny for this is not something that I'm necessarily excited about, but thankfully I didn't have to pay the full price. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the book cover case. Is it worth it to you? at 200? Did you find it for a better deal than 115? I know Amazon is constantly keeping the price low between 115 and 130. So I would definitely say at that price point, it's better. But I feel like Samsung should have definitely looked out for us and the amount of complaints and concerns we have for the Tab S6 and just gave us a good discount out the gate at like 130 bucks for the keyboard. And then next year I can see him trying to charge 200, or well, this year the Tab S8 200 or something like that. And given that the Tab S8 is going to have an even bigger screen at 14.6 inches or something like that, be on the lookout for the Tab S8 Ultra. I think that's what it's going to be called. And that keyboard potentially actually having backlighting. That's going to be the interesting part. And perhaps the book cover case will actually be built into the tablet, Microsoft Surface style. That, be on the lookout for that. But that's it for the Tab S7 Plus. What do you guys think overall? Do you guys enjoy, or like, well, have you guys enjoyed using it? If you haven't, are you contemplating getting it if you haven't already? Do you like the design choices that Samsung made for the Galaxy Tab S7 Plus in terms of the book cover case and the keyboard? Let me know down your thoughts in the comment section below. But if you guys haven't already, ignite the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you never miss my videos, and we can sit back, chill, to see what's cracking. Your man Versal signing out, and until the next video. This tablet's a beast, baby. Wait for it.